at work, and we're looking forward to having you all to answer your questions during this session, and we shall interact further as we progress. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Owen Muruthi. As we wait for Dr. Edwin Mungai to come on, please let us know in the chat where you're joining us from, whether you're joining us from here, Kenya, or whichever industry or sector you're in, and the name of the organization in which you are. I'm joining you here from Nairobi, Kenya, the head office at Impact Africa. Please let us know where you're from as we begin the session. Okay, thank you, Michael Mwaura, joining us from Nairobi, Kenya. Feel most welcome. Hi, Suhania, joining us from Malaysia. Feel absolutely welcome. Now, as we begin the session, GRI is one of our programs here at Impact Africa, and we'll get to hear more about what Impact Africa does. We also run the Sustainability Practitioners Fellowship, and we are proud to be having our first cohort of that coming through. We also have our Impact Africa Consulting Limited Academy, Thrive and Transition to Sustainability, which is for those who are looking to join sustainability, and also coaching sessions with Dr. Edward Mugai. So these are just some of the programs in addition to the services that we offer here at Impact Africa. Charity Museo, thank you very much for joining us from Nairobi, Kenya. Maybe also to keep the conversation going. It's exciting to see also from the registrations how many countries had applied. Jonathan, thank you for joining us from Canada. It's interesting to see how GRI is one of the globally recognized reporting standards. That's the Global Reporting Initiative, which is used by many companies worldwide to do their sustainability reporting. So it's very interesting to see the interest around GRI and more so the move towards sustainability. Remember to join the conversations online, hashtag Impact Africa GRI, and also follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. So also maybe as we continue the conversation, post in the chat what are some of the sustainability myths that you have encountered and why taking a step in GRI would be important to dispelling some of these myths. So I'll start by giving one. There's a myth that sustainability is mainly for big corporate companies that have a lot of money. But this is not the case. Sustainability, and especially when it comes to sustainability, having a strategy, having reporting on the environmental, social, and economic efforts that an organization is making, this can be done by any size of company, whether it be a small business, a micro enterprise, it be a large business. It's important that we all take part in sustainability. And again, there is no sector that does not cover or touch sustainability. So that means that regardless of the sector, there are aspects of sustainability that would fall within the sector. So for example, for agriculture, we would have a focus on some of the things like, let's say, biodiversity would be key. We'd be looking also at reforestation and afforestation. You're looking at your emissions, your energy consumption, your water consumption, your waste profiles. Some of those cut across all industries, but of course, how you look at them differs according to the industry. Yeah, so please let us know some of the sustainability myths that you've heard of out there.
Thank you, Catherine, for highlighting one of the myths. I think another major myth that you have heard of is sustainability is expensive. We have heard people saying that sustainability is very expensive, but remember, it's about doing good as a good business, and it's about the small things and the small initiatives that we can put up that can make a difference. Last week, I was talking to one of the MDs of a major hospital in Kenya, and she was highlighting how putting gutters of about $100 has transformed the hospital in terms of what the plants they water, the trees they have, and it has made the hospital have a new look and feel. And even in terms of the air quality that has been produced has been of good standard. So expense has been one of the major myths, and I'm trying to look at the charts so that I can read another myth that has been highlighted when it comes to sustainability. In Kenya, people say that sustainability is for the old Mzungu companies. That has also been one of the myths that has been highlighted. Catherine, you can give us another one as we wait for more on the chat. Let's keep it interactive.
Yes. I think for now, Dr. Edward Mungai has joined us, so we can kick off the session. But kindly continue to give us your comments and your questions all throughout the discussion. Thank you very much, and welcome, Dr. Edward Mungai.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Catherine, for the opportunity, and needed to thank everybody who have enabled or who've been able to join us at this time. Just to say that you have to excuse me because I'm in another training, and I've just taken this time just to encourage you, just to say a little bit about GRI, and I do know that we have we do have some slides that you're supposed to present, but maybe I should just kind of quickly say about why it is important that you should be on this journey of GRI. Indeed, this is one of the flagship kind of reporting frameworks that we have. That is the GRI standard. GRI means Global Reporting Initiative, and really is about encouraging each one of you that if you are truly, psyched up to become a professional, and in this case, a certified professional within the GRI standards, that this becomes, a key element when it comes to this journey. Catherine, if you can put the slides into presentation mode, that would be very useful. We at Impact Africa, not only that we'll be able to provide you with the training, but our objective is to make sure that you pass your examination and you become certified. So we have curated a program where we will take you through this journey for 5 days. Beyond those 5 days, we'll have you for 2 weeks, where we'll have 5 mock exams. I don't think there is anywhere you can have 5 mock exams, which will prepare you and eventually will make sure that you pass in the exam. If you can move on to the next slide, Catherine. So just, a little bit to say a little bit about ourselves. Yes, we are Impact Africa, and we aim to be, the leading firm when it comes to sustainability across Africa. We've gone, a long way in terms of achieving that. We have been serving, people in different sectors. We have been serving in 4 main areas. That's sustainability advisory services, which is our flagship programs, where we help organizations to come up with sustainability report, to come with a sustainability strategy, to be able to come up with their climate action and net zero plans, as they try to achieve that objective of sustainability and, objective. It's also about enterprise support services, where we work with enterprises and especially small and medium enterprises. Yes, it is a challenge for them, especially the investment required, but we have taken it to ourselves to help support them to be able to engage in that. It's also about helping with issues like risk management and compliance services in vis-a-vis to sustainability requirements. We also do impact assessment, where we do impact assessment for carbon footprint, for social impact, for monitoring and evaluation, both for private sector, but also for government and also for, civil society and NGOs. both international and local and regional NGOs. The other part and where GRI falls in is, training and capacity building, where we have customized courses. We do have, various courses which we certify people on. One of the flagship courses is, of course, the GRI course, which we are pitching to you, which is what we want to provide you with more information. We do have a cohort, which is our cohort number 3, which is coming up next week, and we do hope that many of you will be able to join us. Indeed, GRI is where to be, despite the fact that we have many standards that are coming up and the convergence of those standards, but we still feel that GRI is the most used. In terms of our footprint, yes, indeed, we are trying to make our headways towards becoming, the leading firm in Africa. As you can see, this is our footprint, and we just don't prize ourselves because of this. We also give you, as part of our cohort, as part of our candidates, as part of our students, we give you exposure to some of these things. For instance, if you are going to make a report and you are very interested in seeing how a report is made, obviously, if you be part of us, then we'll be able to give you that opportunity. We have had more than 145 projects in more than 14 countries. Out of those, 20 plus have been on carbon credit advisory. We have, more than 60 in resource mobilization. Again, we have had more than 200 sustainability training. As I said, this is one that I'm doing today and yesterday. We also published many articles. We also share information around, sustainability through our forum, which is what we call, Africa Sustainability Matters. These are some of the clients across Africa who've trusted us with their journey. And again, it's when you come to be trained by Impact Africa, truly you are being trained by people who have been trusted, people who are capable, and that's why we feel very strongly that we also must make you succeed in your journey towards transitioning to sustainability. If you move on to the next one. This is our team members. We've been fortunate to work with young people. The other day, somebody was making a joke that I'm their father, and indeed, I am their father. This is the team at Impact Africa, and we are always looking for good people. We are also looking for a resource who can be able to join us as we are expanding. And indeed, at the moment, we are also looking for various positions. And if at all you are interested, again, this is a team to join. Within Impact Africa. Catherine is here. I think we have, Owen also part of us, but truly, this is the team. Then why sustainability? It's about doing good business. I think Owen was really articulating that it's no longer about feeling good. It's about what are the things we can be able to do within our organization. For instance, to be able to safeguard human rights, to be able to safeguard human health, to be able to reduce the impact on pollutions and any harmful effects that we can be able to cause as the people to our people. It's also about preserving the resources that we are endowed with, kind of always asking ourselves, we got into this world, can we live it better, or at least we live it as we found it? So again, through the vehicle of sustainability, it's about preserving those resources. It's also about global recognition, as an organization which is, sustainable and, having adopted measures which are compliant with the various requirements. And again, through sustainability pillar, you can be able to achieve that. It's also about economic prudence. And we know that, and research is out there that, companies that are sustainable, of course, they have gone ahead and they've been able to outdo those that are not sustainable. And indeed, when you are transitioning into this sustainability, is a movement that you're getting into. And we are very proud that, we'll be able to get you around that journey to be able to be part of that. Of course, there's many benefits that you can be able to access as a result of becoming sustainability. And I'm looking at this from your organizational perspective. This is what you need to do to make those doubting Thomases within the organization to be able to appreciate the subject. Of course, as we take you through the training, there will be many good things that you'll be able to learn in regards to this. And really is about, your social license to operate. It's about building your reputation. It's about, you communicating on the progress. It's about business development. It's about, you becoming more competitive as a business. And all this, with the sustainability certification, you become better to articulate that, and you make your organization, big or small, to be reputable, to be able to benefit from the movement of sustainability. And that's why that, golden mark that you're just about to embark on, which is the GRI certification, becomes very critical. Of course, the number of people who are certified for GRI across the continent is very few. And that's why, again, and yet the skills are required if companies are going to benefit from all these elements. So indeed, it's a pleasure, for you to be here and for you to be able to appreciate something about sustainability, and eventually we can be able, to give you some value in regards to that. We'll also talk about the trends, things like ESG metrics, incorporating scenario analysis, stakeholder involvement, utilization of technology, alignment with global standards. All these are things that, beyond the 1 week and beyond your examination, which is very important that you pass that exam. It's a pass mark of 75. And we prepare you to be able to pass that exam, to be able to articulate and to be able to plug into these trends around sustainability and putting your organization into the map. So indeed, it's just to tell you that this is very important, that we get part of this. And I don't know whether, when you want to say about the overview of sustainability reporting with GRI standards, but otherwise, is really about how can we be able to position our organizations, big or small. It doesn't matter whether you want to be a consultant, whether you are reporting from a bigger framework, whether it is also for curiosity for you to make impact. I think you have made the right choice, and the right choice is GRI. The next question is then, when do you want to be trained? And we are here to walk the journey with you all the way to ensure that you pass the examination. As I said, and probably we'll get some testimonies. We'll be able to hear from Owen, who also will be teaching together with myself on this course, is that we pride on seeing our students, getting, those 85, 90 marks that, that we are interested in. And truly, we are here to help. I must also say, very quickly, that yes, it costs about $400, and I know for sure you'll be given this information, but the investments, the return on investment out of that 400 euros, and I think another 250 euros, which is for the examination. We do arrange for a 25% discount from GRI. All these are the benefits, but as I said, the return on investment is huge. If you look at the frameworks for reporting, yes, there are many reporting frameworks, but the truth of the matter is that 87% of companies globally they're reporting on the GRI standard. So again, the choice of the standard that you have chosen indeed is the right one. IFRS S1, S2, they're just disclosures within the financial statements. And when you have GRI, indeed you are into that. TNFD, Task Force for Nature, related financial disclosure, again, very much into S1 and S2, and into the future, probably that also will be able to, to be combined with S1, S2. And of course, the other elements, SASB, SPTI, IFC 8 principles, all those, somehow are incorporated with the GRI. And therefore, it is very encompassing that you are taking the GRI, and really would like to say that this is the right choice. And indeed, you have chosen the right partner to be able to walk with you the journey. I should also say a little bit about our, what I would call our alumni, and we also, it's not just about passing exams. We also bring you together, into a forum where we have all our cohorts, where we share information. Not only we share information, we share opportunities, we share our struggles, and therefore then we grow each other, as a community of practitioners. Why GRI, real world application? And you'll be able to see that in the four, rather into the various standards. For instance, we have universal standard, we have the sector standard, and we have topic standards, and they are all, from a real life application. And you'll be able, even whether you're a small company, big company, you'll be able to see how then it is part of that. It is interactive. You're learning where we engage in interactive sessions, group exercises, video presentation, quizzes, best practices, and case studies which are relevant for our continent. Remember, we are, accredited to train in the continent of Africa. It's also about, through the GRI, you'll be able to prepare your own report, because then you have the skills, and obviously you are also globally recognized. As I said, when you look at the website of the GRI, you'll be able to see who is who when it comes to the GRI certified sustainability professionals. And we look forward to seeing you on that list, to receiving your certificate and congratulating you for that. Again, I want to leave it at this point, and I would like, Owen or Catherine to take over, and I do hope that you will be joining us. As I said, I am the one in the driving seat. I am the one who is teaching you. I'm the one who is pushing you. And one thing that I tell my students is that you need to trust the process. Just trust the process, and you'll get your 85, you'll get your 89. The maximum we have seen is 95, and this is all possible. The pass mark is 75. Our average to date is about 87 or thereabout, and therefore we look forward, provided you trust the process and provided you commit. It's a worthwhile journey, and we are more than happy to accompany you through that journey. Once more, thank you very much for being here, and I look forward to seeing you next week in class as we go through this together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Edward Mungai, for taking us through the first part of this session. I would now like to pass it over to Mr. Owen Muruthi to take us through the next part of this session. Please remember to post your questions in the chat or in the Q&A, and we will be sure to address them along the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. for that elaborate explanation, taking us through the first part. And Catherine, I'll kindly ask you to help me share the screen as we progress. So Dr. told us that GRI is one of the most reported on framework, and I'll just about to show you the numbers so that we can get to know what we're getting ourselves into. And just to see, we see that we have 69% as a top lead of the standards that most companies use, which is the GRI standards. And you see when this report was, this was done from the International Federation of Accountants. And just as we're looking at the graph, we see that most organizations, to that of the companies, report using multiple frameworks. This means that they are able to report using the GRI framework, the SS-based framework, the SDGs, the TCFD, the FRS S1, S2 that is coming, and also the United Nations Global Compact, okay? So GRI has been one of the most referenced framework. But then we find that most companies, which is under the 68%, use the combination of the frameworks. The good thing is that GRI has been working with other frameworks to show how it is interoperability standard of the frameworks, in the sense that if you are reporting with the GRI, there's a sense, same way you can report with the IFRS S1, S2. This is in the same sense it has been able to incorporate the UN SDGs. So in a nutshell, that is why GRI is the most referenced framework. Looking at the GRI reporting standards, we're going to look about some of the main features of the GRI reporting standard, which it's a modular structure. This means that the GRI has three main modular structures, where we have the GRI 1 Foundation 2021, where it talks about the principles, it talks about the reporting requirements, and talks about the standards in a general framework. What you're supposed to, we will talk about the universal disclosures. And secondly, we're going to look at the GRI sector standards. There are various sector standards. Right now, there are about 4 sector standards. And remember, GRI is on a continuous mission to come up with different standards for the different sectors. Right now, we have the oil and gas sector standards. We have the agriculture and fisheries. We have mining. And in the pipeline, we're going to see finance. And also the other standards that will be coming up, okay? So also the GRI standards are developed by an independent, transparent process and are applicable to any organizations worldwide, regardless of size, sector, and location. As Dr. had mentioned, the myth that we have been seeing is that GRI is for big, old companies, but then this is not the case, because we see that it can be able to be used by any organization, okay? It's based on expectations of responsible business conduct. We'll see that it will be able to look at the different international government instruments, like the ILO. We're going to look how they are able to get into the GRI framework, okay? It also includes a set of requirements and reporting principles. So for you to have reported within the GRI standards, there are a set of requirements and reporting principles that you should apply for us to say that you have reported the GRI standards. Also, it's compatible with the range of reporting frameworks. I talked about interoperability of the reporting standards, where now we have the FRS, we have the ESRS, we have the IFC, which will be clearly showing how once you report with the GRI standards, you're able to report with these other frameworks, okay? As I mentioned, this is the modularity of the GRI standards, where we have the universal standard. In the universal standards, we have 3 main subsections, where we have the GRI 1, which talks mainly of the requirements and principles of using the GRI standards. Also, we have GRI 2, which talks about disclosures about the reporting organizations, where we have the general disclosures. And then GRI 3 talks about disclosures and guidance about the organization's material topics. Here we will show you step by step on how an organization should identify its material topics. We'll talk about interesting concepts like the concept of double materiality, where we talk about the financial material topics that were traditional, and then the impact material topics that now look at sustainability. Okay, I also mentioned that we have the sector standard. Right now we have GRI 11, 12, and 13. And organizations are required to use their sector standards once if they are available, once they are reporting the GRI standard. And lastly, we're going to look at the topic standard. The topic standards, we have them in the 200 series, 300 series, and 400 series, where they have been cascaded in terms of the environment, social, and governance issues, okay? can progress to the next slide. Thank you. So in a nutshell, this is the components of the GRI standards, where we'll talk about the features that I have highlighted in a small brief. We'll also show how to use the GRI standards and prepare the sustainability reports. Remember, sustainability reports are now prepared according to two main options, where we have you can report with reference to the GRI standards or in accordance with the GRI standards. Okay, we're going also to understand the relationship between sustainable development and sustainability reporting. Here we're also going to link SDGs and see how is sustainable development linked to sustainability reporting. Remember, friends, we are living in a borrowed space. We have to live our world in a better place than it was. So we're going to see how can our impacts as different corporates, as different SMEs, how can we ensure that the impacts we're doing and within our spaces are able to impact the world positively. Okay, we're also going to see learn the value of reporting. We're going to look at the external and internal benefits of reporting with the GRI standards. What is it? Why is it important? We have seen investors coming in asking for people to have sustainability reports. We have seen regulatory requirements that are there. We have seen in Kenya, we have the NSC, the Nairobi Securities Exchange, which has a requirement, a recommendation for countries, for organizations to have standalone sustainability reports. We're also going to learn how to conduct materiality assessment and stakeholder engagement, okay? Because remember, we're looking at the impacts that we have. And when we're looking at the impacts, we'll have the outward lens and the double materiality lens, where we look at the financial impacts and the financial impacts and our outward impacts towards the environment, social and governance issues. Okay. Also, we are going to learn how to develop report content. We are going to show you through our various reports that we have done before, practical ways of developing your reports. Okay. And we are going to provide you with a sustainability reporting guide. Here we have the different frameworks that we have in line with the GRI standards. Okay. So the GRI is mainly divided into 3 modules. The fourth one being the exam, where the first one will start with the reporting of the GRI standards, where here we give you the basics, the foundation of what the GRI standards have. Okay, we are going to look at the GRI 1 in this section, which is the main part that is normally examined. Okay, then the second module is on reporting on human rights with the GRI standards. Here we are going to look at why it is important for corporates to have and SMEs to look at human rights. Traditionally, human rights have been left for governments, but then you're going to see why it is important, because you're seeing that for many negative human rights impacts, it's most corporates that form them. Also, we're going to show you how to integrate the SDGs into sustainability reporting. We have seen it's been a major issue for most people to report on SDGs, because if we look at many reports, you're saying that people look at SDGs as the rainbows, as things to beautify their reports. And you find people reporting on maybe 13, 14 SDGs, which is not practical. So through this course, we're going to show you how you are able to align the SDGs with your businesses, with your business strategy and the impacts that you are creating. And lastly, it has a GRI professional certification exam, which is based on the universal standard. And here we are going to prepare you. As Dr. mentioned, as we can move to the next slide, we have 5 mock exams. And after this session, we have, after the 1-week training, which will be from next week, the 13th to the 17th, from 5 p.m. to around 8 p.m. East African time. Afterwards, we are going to be sitting together for about 3 weeks. Here we are going to go through the various mock exams. Here we are trying to build the confidence, because our main goal is, as you're doing the course, the goal is you must do the course. You're making a 400 euros investment. You must again get the certification. And from past experience, no student has failed our exam. That is how thorough we are. And the 2-3 weeks that you will join us later, it's also very important for most of us to join, because this is where now we sharpen our knowledge. We are able to air out and that was not clear during the first week, and we are able to go through the MOOCs. Okay, so we also have traditionally, you've seen, as before we progress, You can just go to the previous slide. So I'm going to talk about the cohorts this year. This will be our third cohort for the year. I have been training personally on the last 4 cohorts. Daktari has been training with other organizations for the last 10 years. So be sure you're in safe hands, friends. Everything should be okay. And as I said, 99% of our students pass exams, and we are here to handhold you to do your examination. You'll also get expert instructors. We are here, we're in the game. Sustainability is our flagship program. This is what we do. It's our bread and butter, okay? So you can progress to the next slide. So just to emphasize, we will be giving case studies based on practice and examples and exercise. We will be looking at the reports that have been done by others and also the reports that we have done, and just to make people have a feel and look of how the process is. This is a flexible learning. We have as our own system where you'll get all the online courses, all the necessary documents that you want. We also have networking opportunities, as Terry had mentioned. We have a group that we have that is normally a networking group where we'll face our challenges when it comes to the day-to-day practical application of the different in our different fields, okay? And then we have a comprehensive curriculum where we will be looking at the first week where we'll be doing the course, and then it extends, okay? And we have a number of courses that we do. As we said, training and capacity building is one of our flagship program, and we are here to support you and ensure that you are in the right path and you have the confidence to practice sustainability in the right manner, okay? So important announcements. This is just to highlight that this will be our third cohort, which will run from the 13th to the 17th of May. The registration deadline is 9th May, and 10th will be the deadline for making our payments. The sessions will be virtual. As I said, we have an online system where all our learning materials will be there. We'll also be recording our sessions. If you feel anything is not clear, you'll always feel free to log in into our platform and have a retake of the videos if that's what you prefer. Also, we are here. Our main work is sustainability. We are dedicated to make impactful value in our space. As Terry had mentioned, we do reports, we do various articles, and we are a phone call away. If you want any help, any tailor-made session, we are here to help you, okay? And we want everyone here to be a GRI certified sustainability practitioner. In Kenya, I think there are only 30. In Tanzania, I think it's only 1. In Uganda, there's only 2 certified professionals. And Sustainability Friends is here to stay. Right now, when you go to various boardrooms, when you're talking to the various business leaders, this is what is the question that is being asked, is how can we do sustainability as a way of doing good? How can we get an ROI when we come to sustainability? So friends, through this course, we will be able to highlight sustainability and highlight how we can report our impacts through the GRI framework and be able to create a positive value to our people, to our environment, and to the various organization and governance structures that we have. So Catherine, next slide, please. So with that, friends, this is a QR code. You can see how you can apply today. Kindly feel free to take your phone, scan the code, and you'll be able to get a registration form. If that is not the case, a registration link also will be shared on the WhatsApp chat, and you are able to see that. So we can go to the next slide where we'll just highlight a spotlight of some of our previous students. So we have had 2 cohorts this year, where the first cohort we were about 30, the second cohort was quite impromptu. We had around 10 people, and through this cohort we have seen and we have had family and friendly relations with them. Our highest student got us 95%, which throughout my experience, that was one of the highest records that we saw, who got a 95%, and nobody has failed from this cohort. People continue doing the exams. Right now, I think even as of today, 1 person did and got an 88%. So this, friends, we're here to trust the process. We're here to hold you down through the process, and everything should be okay. And with this, at this juncture, I'm going to give it back to you, Catherine, for you to welcome one of our students from the first cohort this year, and so that she can give us her remarks. Thank you very much, Catherine. Feel free to take over. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Owen, for that thorough analysis of what the GRI certification will cover. I would now like to invite Anna Kandu, who works at Uraro Advocates and was in the first cohort that we held this year to give us her testimonial. Welcome, Anna.
Thank you, Catherine, Owen, and Dr. Mungai. First of all, it's just to thank them for the opportunity to at least share my experience and how the GRI training course was. Firstly, I think it really opens up your mind as to the possibilities that are out there with respect to sustainability. So it gives you an understanding of how to articulate yourself with respect to a sustainable context. I would say maybe in similar words to Dr. Mungai that we want to be people who leave the place better than we found it. And this course has really enabled me to be able to articulate some of the issues that I may not have known how to articulate in perhaps the company that I work, and also with respect to speaking to different people about sustainable matters. And yes, it really has broadened my understanding of that. And I can really vouch for the course in terms of the amount of content, how well the program is carried out, and how people are able to work with you. I can attest that Owen, Dr. Mungai, Lisa as well, were very helpful, and they're very responsive if you have any questions or if you need any guidance. I think the other thing is also just to equip you and give you a networking opportunity to meet many other sustainable practitioners or sustainability practitioners, or people who have gone through the course or even are going through the course with you. I found that as a really nice way to have a good community to be a part of, and people who you can share experiences with. With respect to the exam, I can attest that actually everything that you learn in this course, or all the content that is shared with you, is actually going to be very, very useful. So don't fall behind. Be sure to follow up on the discussions that are had, read the content that is shared, listen in class, ask questions, because that's exactly what was shared in the exam. I think that's usually the most maybe a bit scary, but it's really about the confidence that is built even after you sit those 5 mock exams. For sure, you're able to do very well. So yeah, I think maybe that's what I had to share, but I think everyone, just rest assured that you're in the right place.
Thank you very much, Anna Kando, for sharing with us your experience, and we hope that this encourages everyone on call and even those listening in online to join this May cohort. Maybe now to read one more of the testimonials that we had from one of our previous clients. This is Mimi Mavuti, Head of Business Communications and Sustainability at BAT. She says that sustainability is everyone's business, not just corporations or businesses. It begins with each one of us as individuals. In keeping with this belief, as a sustainability professional, I embarked on a certification journey with GRI. Key objective was to enhance my knowledge and gain credibility as a sustainability leader. Dr. Edwin Mugai led the Impact Africa team in tutoring me and some of my colleagues, which involved discussion sessions, mock exams, spot quizzes, and these were invaluable assets as they familiarize you with the examination approach and get you to interrogate the content. Another key resource was the study materials provided, which came in handy in preparing for the exams as they guide your reading and build synergies with the examination material. I would encourage any sustainability professional, especially those keen on disclosures and reporting, to pursue the GRI certification with an accredited trainer such as Impact Africa Consulting Limited, where it is definitely worth the investment. Thank you once again, Anna and Mimi, for sharing with us your experience. And as well, you can see that for both Mimi and for Anna, the feedback given is the same, that when you study with us, you are sure to get your mock exams, to have someone work with you, for the study materials to be shared, and for you to excel in getting not only the GRI certification, but in excelling as a sustainability practitioner. At this point, I would like to open the floor for any questions, and I think we have a few. So I'd like to welcome Owen back to just help us address some of the questions.
Thank you, Catherine. Feel free. So one of the questions I can read from the chat is how many hours per day does the course run? So the course runs from 5 to 8. That's approximately 3 hours with a 15 minutes break. This is for the first week. Remember, we said we had hold you for an extra 2 weeks where we'll have 5 mocks, and we put out the mocks on a rolling basis where you first do your first mock and then we revise it together. You do the second mock, we revise it together till the very 5th mock. So that is our approach. And through that, we are able to repeat the concepts, make the concepts clearer, show you the examiner's trick to ensure that you pass. Another question I've seen in when is the next session for the GRI certification training. So the current session will be next week from the 13th to the 17th. And then we will be having another session in the last quarter of the year. So that
Thanks,
will be
Owen.
in November.
I said another question in the Q&A, and the question is about, do you offer GRI training for companies?
Yes, we do. We offer GRI trainings for companies. We agree on the time and we tailor-make and come and train your cohort. And for companies, it's normally very interesting since we space out a week but we can agree that we do it virtually from around 5 to 8 in the evening hours, or we can do 3 full days and then we have the revision session for a day or two. And then once we leave there within a span of a week, we ensure that everyone has done the exam and passed. So yes, we do it and we tailor-make it to fit the different company needs. So
Okay.
the most you have done for is a week with people passing the exam, and then we also do this hybrid session.
Okay, so just another clarification from Jonathan. The course runs from 5 to 8 p.m. Nairobi time on May 13th to May 17th.
Yes, and then after the span, we will have like 2-3 weeks where we will support you with your revision.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Another question from Michael. What are the key areas on sustainability reporting, and what kind of data do you collect and analyze to come up with a sustainability report? And where does environmental impact assessment stand in matters sustainability?
So thank you very much, Michael, for that question. So the first sustainability reporting, as I mentioned, there are general disclosures that look at your organization, your boundary, where you are as an example, the number of staff that you have, the policies that you have as an example, and then we look at your material topics. And as we had highlighted, we are able to support you to conduct through this course, you're able to do a materiality assessment. And through that is what basically will guide what to report on, because companies report on what is material to them, what is the most important to the business and to their stakeholders. So once you're able to identify that will then inform your reporting, because you have remember I said we have sector standards and we have topic standards. So through the various sector standards, you're able to see like your likely material topics, and then through the topic standards, you're able to see the disclosures that are required for you to report on, to issue out report and disclosures. So the last question was, where does EIA stand in matter sustainability? So lately, there's been a lot of interest with companies where I've seen a number of companies and investors wanting people to report on their sustainability issues, and also because sustainability reporting is all about impact, okay? So it's about how we confine that and give out the numbers, give out what we're doing, our impact as an organization. So it's a very closely related and very interlinked. And through the GRI reporting framework, you're able to see how to outline and highlight your impacts.
Yeah, maybe if I can add on that also. Also, when you're looking at GRI reporting or just sustainability reporting, one of the main things that you're doing is looking at the company's negative and positive impacts. So in a nutshell, it looks at how a company can, from year to year, improve on its positive impacts while reducing its negative impacts. So we'll also look at things like, carbon footprint assessments and just to see how you reduce your carbon emissions. The last question is, I'm not between sustainability and impact. Would you recommend this course for someone whose focus is on impact management?
True, Bernadette, that's the future, that's the secret. If you're able to combine the two, you're good to go. You will be very valuable when you do that. And that is what, personally, that's what I'm doing. So I'd also recommend the same for you. Okay. Any other questions? I think we can also put the mics on so that if anyone feels they have any clarification, they're able to. So for Suhania, we will contact you and give you more details on when you can join the next session. We will keep you updated. Our communications team surely has your details and will be able to get in touch with you. Okay. Any other questions, clarifications? Jay, go ahead. Kindly enable the speaker for Jay, the mic for Jay.
Jay's mic is enabled. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jay. You can now put your mic on. Kindly let us know whether that is possible.
Okay, Jay, are you able to type the question or comment in the chat kindly?
So as Jay does that, mine is to encourage you through the 3 cohorts that I've been on. It has really been fulfilling watching people from the first day, the questions that they have been asking, the confusions that are there on the first day, to people getting 95, 90s, 86, 88. I think our average mean for the last cohort was 85%. So friends, this is achievable. Ours is to handhold you, ensure that exam phobia, which has been the greatest issue amongst most of us, we all fear exams, but then the confidence we built with you through the 5 mocks will surely ensure that you emerge victorious, you are able to get to be certified, and you're able to sustain your sustainability journey. Right now, there is a lot of interest because people are really checking in the GRI platform to know, because initially when the sustainability started, and you can attest, we have seen many ESG experts. So there have been a lot of people proclaiming to be ESG experts, but then the certification, which is verifiable, people are able to differentiate you from the crowd, and you're able to get at least a 30% advantage over people. So
yeah, thank you very much.
That this is, yeah.
There's one more question here we have left out. Thank you for the session. I have signed up for the course, but I am not able to attend during the set time. How can I still participate in the course?
Okay, so for that, we have recording sessions that we do after the course. So for people who want to do a bit of hybrid, yes, you can get the recording afterwards. And in case you need any clarifications on anything, we are willing to put in the time for you to be able to give us any questions that you might be having.
Okay, what are the qualifications one should have to be trained as a GRI professional?
So there are no qualifications per se. Remember, sustainability has been the new field. As long as you can read, you can write, you can understand, you are able to sit in for the exam, and there is no major qualification. It's just that this is a certification program that keeps you, that is an additional from what other people have.
Yeah, maybe also just to add on that, no, GRI certification does not have any pre-qualifications for you to have met in order to do a GRI certification. Yeah. Okay, I think those are all the questions we've had for this session. Thank you very much, Mr. Uwal Muruthi. I now invite you to give your closing remarks. Sorry, one has popped up. Does it require
one question?
Yes.
Yes, Charity. Thank you for that question, Charity. This we had forgotten to mention. As from last year, the Global Reporting Initiative requires you do continuous education units, where you're supposed to do 4 units in a year. Okay. Remember, as any other course, it's to keep you updated with what is going on. Remember, I said it's a modular structure. Sector standards keep coming on. There are definitely sector topic standards that come on. So the GRI wants to ensure that you're well equipped as a GRI certified practitioner. So after you do the course for 1 year, before the other year ends, you're supposed to at least have done 4 units in a year. Okay. And I'm in a sustainable room, as you can see. So the sensors are putting off my light. This is the world we live in right now. Okay.
Okay, I think those are all the questions. I now invite you to kindly give your closing remarks.
So thank you very much, Catherine, for the moderation. Thank you all for your attendance and for your active participation. Mine is to invite you to the next cohort. Feel free to come in, feel free to interact, feel free to write to us in case of any queries. This will be a fulfilling session. I've had students who are now very good friends that we've been able to interact in terms of networking, in terms of opportunities. So see you then, and thank you for joining. I'm looking forward to have you in the next cohort, and all will be well. As Dr. Mungai said, trust the process. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you very much, Owen, for taking us through the session. And thank you very much, Dr. in absentia, for also taking us through the session. Just to recap some of the important announcements that were given. The cohort will be starting next week from 13th to 17th of May from 5 to 8 p.m. The cost for this cohort is 400 euros, and registration closes on 9th of May and payment to be made by 10th of May. We really do hope that you will join us for this cohort or one of our future cohorts, which we will also be sure to advertise on our platform. So be sure to follow us on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and on Facebook, and keep this conversation going online with #ImpactAfricaGRI. Once again, thank you all. Thank you very much, Anna Kandu and Mimi, for giving us your testimonials, and for all of you who joined us on the Teams call and those who joined us on Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Thank you very much. My name is Catherine Momo, and I was your moderator, and have a wonderful afternoon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.